Hello.
Hi.
And welcome back to another episode of Millennial Movie Club. Or Millennial Movie Club.
Chip chip chillio.
Because we're doing a British fan favourite.
Is it? Do British people like this?
To be honest, no, I think it's the reverse.
Yeah. I think this is America's fantasy of what Britain is like.
Right. I think
British people are like...
Britain, all of Britain was insulted. I'm your host, Jaz Zap, and a fun fact about me is that I've always kept a diary since I was a young child. And I am happy to have them to look back on to see different parts of my life, what I was going through, but also sometimes it's annoying when I'm like, wow, I'm still dealing with the same issue, but mostly I'm worried about my children finding it after I'm dead and being like... You
still keep a diary?
Less often now. Okay. But from the time I was like in middle school up through my late 20s and then like very occasionally now I'll dip in.
Wow.
But there's a lot of stuff in there that I'm like, maybe I burn these on my deathbed. Or we turn them into a book when I'm very famous. We don't know.
Okay.
Who are you?
I'm Jackson McClaskey. I'm your other host. And a fun fact about me is I've read all of Jaz's diaries. I know everything about you.
And you're still choosing to be friends with me. You're like, a fun fact about Jaz is...
I know all your fun facts. Ain't nothing fun about it, let me tell you.
Yikes.
Why are we talking about diaries?
We're talking about diaries.
Because we're doing the Princess Diaries. Just kidding.
Just kidding. All of Britain loved that movie.
They love that one. Julie Andrews is in it.
Princess? No, we're talking about mother effing Bridget Jones' Diary, the OG, the number one, numero uno.
Now there's like 10.
There's 3. 4.
Yeah.
Right. The newer one just came out. Where she's like, now I'm old and my children are grown and my husband's dead. I didn't watch it. Also, that's Julie Andrews' voice.
That was Julie Andrews.
But I have not watched through the series. But this was a nice... I've definitely seen bits and pieces of the first one, and it's a nice little time.
I've never seen this before.
Oh, first watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
First Watch Breakfast Restaurant. A friend of the pod and future sponsor, First Watch.
What's that?
It is a breakfast restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. They just made up a restaurant. First Watch Breakfast Restaurant. Favorite spot to get eggs.
You know the breakfast restaurant?
You know that one?
The way they call it a breakfast restaurant.
What are you opening? A breakfast restaurant. What do you get there? Hot dog.
Only American breakfast.
No beans on toast.
Yeah, Bridget.
Bridget. Also, I hate the way they spell Bridget.
Yeah, I spelled it wrong every single time.
Well, it should be Bridgette. Bridget.
Do you say a J?
No, I said G, but I
said
it weird.
Yeah, it's like Bridget.
But they spelled Bridget.
Yeah, I wanted it to be the ETTE.
A little widget Bridget. I'm like, I don't like that.
No, it's not as classy. But then again, maybe it's more fitting to her quirky, out of the box character.
Whoa. We get it. She's a mess.
And yet fucking the hottest men in town.
Okay.
Shall we? Ooh! I sense a debate.
You've been to the optometrist recently? Did you hear that? Have I been to the speech therapist recently? Nope.
Have you been to the head doctor?
The stroke doctor?
The old brain doctor? Anyway.
One type of stroke doctor.
Shall we set the scene?
Oh, well, let's do that.
That's what I meant to say. At the start of the new year, 32-year-old Bridget decides it's time to take control of her life and start keeping a diary. Now the most provocative, erotic, and hysterical book on her bedside table is the one she is writing. With a taste for adventure and an opinion on every subject, from exercise to men to food to sex and everything in between, she's turning the page on a whole new life.
Oh, but this is called Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yes.
We spend the first 20 minutes of the movie in the diary and the last 5 minutes in the diary.
Yeah. I want there to be more.
That part in the movie where we get like literal writing over the screen.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
Why aren't we getting more of that?
Because she's too busy having sex.
Just then call it Bridget Jones.
Just call it Bridget Jones' adventurous sex life.
Bridget Jones gets it together.
Bridget Jones loses some weight and finally gets fucked.
God bless her. And she looks so normal.
She
in this
looks
movie.
so
They're like, you're fat.
normal.
It's like, no, she's not.
No, she's
she looks
super not.
pretty good.
She looks great.
Great rack.
Her boobs are amazing.
Yep.
In fact, she said, Renee Zellweger said after the movie, she's like, I kind of really liked the weight that I had put on in my body, and like I had friends even telling me that I looked better this way, but then I just thought like, no, it's Hollywood. It's like, okay, well, there's the message for all you girls at home.
There's that.
Speaking of Renee Zellweger, should we get in the cast and crew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that who that is?
Bridget Jones, played by Renee Zellweger. We know her from Jerry Maguire, Nurse Betty, Chicago. Found some fun facts about Renee. She worked as a cocktail waitress in a strip club while trying to catch her big break in acting.
Nice.
And also, I try to do some deep digging when I'm looking for fun facts. And sometimes what people consider to be fun facts like blow my mind. So I had to put this one in there. This is word for word. Zellweger once revealed that she likes to spend time alone.
Zellweger once revealed she prefers to go pee-pee poo-poo by herself. You're like,
You heard it here first.
back to you in the studio.
What the fuck?
That's a fun fact.
Come on.
That's every day of my life.
Wow.
Being alone. Okay.
Zellweger once revealed she's more like Jackson McClaskey than we ever imagined. First of all, she was not the first choice. The first actress offered the role of Bridget Jones was Toni Collette.
My girl.
Yeah. But she declined because she had Broadway commitments at the time. They also offered to Kate Winslet, which I could see that, like sort of almost like her character in The Holiday.
Yeah.
Then they offered it to Renee Zellweger, which caused quite a controversy because, for one, this movie was originally a book about a British woman. And, like, that was a funny move to me, especially because, one, she wasn't a massive star at this time. Like, before Hugh Grant and Colin Firth joined on, this was initially sort of viewed as, like, an indie film because she was not an A-list star. So for them to go out of their way, especially when we know that all the most superior actors are British, maybe all the Brits were like, this is stupid.
It's interesting for such a big, now, you know, post its premiere, big movie, to have an American play a British person because so often the Brits come here to play all of our parts.
Because they all have like a theater background and they're incredible actors.
And we very rarely get Americans to go over there to be like, I'm going to star in this movie.
No. After they saw her performance in the film, like, I mean, she got an Academy Award nomination for this part.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. I just don't see this as the type of, I mean, it's a rom-com. I wouldn't imagine the Academy was sniffing around there to see there, but.
The Academy gave Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton nominations for Something's Gotta Give.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
I think, like, an appreciation for the acting it takes to delicately balance whimsy, charm, and like kind of heartbreak that comes with rom-coms.
Yes.
We can award that.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she busted her booty to make sure she was good for this role. Fun fact, she not only gained 25 pounds, but then she went and worked at a British publishing company for a month using an alias and trying to work on her accent, only speaking in a British accent.
She got a real job for a month. Oh my God.
This is what I'm saying. She was not really recognized yet.
Some
like
actors
globally.
are like, I trained with this foreign military, and she's like, I got a job at a desk. It was horrible. I really
PTSD.
I worked my butt off for this. I did regular people work.
But she did like a really good job there, and nobody there knew who she was yet. So it wasn't like they were like, oh, we're training up a movie star. She kept a framed picture of her then boyfriend Jim Carrey on her desk, which her coworkers found odd because they knew who he was, but they never mentioned it for fear of embarrassing her.
They're like, oh my God, that lady who sometimes has a weird American accent is crazy.
She's kind of obsessed with Jim Carrey.
Obsessed with Jim Carrey. She keeps asking like what type of food we usually like to eat, which is weird because she's kind of British.
She keeps mimicking us when we speak.
Yeah.
She's always like repeating what I say. Is
She,
she making fun of me?
Put her head underneath the bathroom stall when I was farting the other day to see if I fart differently. It was so weird.
Is she taking the piss? Why don't I take a piss?
Why don't I take a piss?
Anyway, moving on. Mark Darcy, played by Colin Firth. We know him from Shakespeare in Love, The King's Speech, What a Girl Wants, Love Actually,
Mamma
Kingsman, Mamma
Mamma
Mia.
Mia.
Oh my God, how
Mamma
did
Mia.
I forget Mamma Mia? He's so perfect for these roles of
I
just the
love
kind of
him.
like stoic, but like inside he's ooey gooey, but we don't reveal it. The book, I should say, was sort of loosely based on Pride and Prejudice.
With a name like Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, doy. But he also played Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
So he's played Darcy a number of times.
But not the one with, not the one that everybody likes.
No, it was like a British series,
Yeah.
TV show series. Yeah. I've never been like, Colin Firth is so hot. But in this one, he had his moments where I was like, okay.
I have.
Yeah. Big time.
Colin Firth in Mamma Mia, Colin Firth in Love Actually, like he is hot.
He's
He's
good.
hot.
He's like,
Hugh Grant is not.
you
Pass.
don't even think in this movie.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Nope.
We'll
Pass.
get into that. Speaking of Hugh Grant.
Hit the pass button. Look
Wait,
at the
wait.
sweat. Look at the sweat. Good God. I'm thinking about Hugh Grant. I'm sweating.
That's why I wore my extra revealing tube top today, because I'm dressed for the Tarts and Vickers party, darling.
Oh, nice. Well, I just gave all my tube tops away, so.
Just in time for summer.
Just in
So
time for
sad.
summer. I'm wearing my Hugh Grant sweaters.
You know, we're ready for Notting Hill weather. See you in the fall, Notting Hill. Speaking of Hugh Grant plays Daniel Cleaver. We know him also from Love Actually, Notting Hill, 2 Weeks Notice, Paddington. Colin Firth was almost in Paddington, fun fact. He was originally the voice of Paddington, and then in post-production they were like, we can't use his voice. It doesn't work. The director reportedly said, like, Paddington just does not have the voice of a super handsome older man. It's just not true to the character. So, sad day. Fun facts about Hugh Grant. Andrew Lloyd Webber's mother was Hugh Grant's piano teacher when he was a child.
Okay. That took me a second to think.
Yeah. He would, at some point, be arrested for canoodling with a sex worker. But that sex worker would go on to become a millionaire because of all of the amazing, like, tell-all. She made, like, a documentary about
yeah.
herself. She, like, was brought on to talk shows, like, the whole nine. And she's like, I can put my child in private school now.
Hell
like,
yeah.
because of that. So, happy for me.
Good for her.
You just got to find the right person to get caught blowing in the car.
Oh, my God.
So Bridget's parents, who are played by Jim Broadbent and Gemma Jones, for any of my Potterheads out here, they were in the Harry Potter film franchise as Professor Slughorn and Madame Pomfrey.
Also, some of the secondary characters, the mom's best friend is played by Celia Imrie, who is in Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then is also the raunchy woman who comes to marry Colin Firth in Nanny McPhee. Which is an amazing movie. I love Nanny McPhee, and I love Celia Imrie in that. Also, the blonde best friend out of the three friends,
Yes.
not the dark-haired one from Harry Potter.
Yeah, Moaning Myrtle.
Or the gay one,
Right.
who's so funny.
The one who says fuck a lot.
Yeah, but the blonde woman is, for anyone that watches Veep, that is
Oh
the
my
Swedish
God.
Prime Minister on Veep.
I knew I
Yes.
recognized her. She's
Yes.
hilarious.
So funny. So funny.
It's so funny because in American cinema, like, I get annoyed when I'm like, oh, great, Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper playing opposite each other again, original, or like, cool, Emma Stone doing this role she shouldn't be doing. No shame on her. She's great. But, like, there's some parts where I'm like, you shouldn't have had that.
Like in Aloha, where she played a Hawaiian person.
Correct. Like in La La Land when she can't sing or dance.
Oh, I loved her in La La Land.
They had to dumb down the choreo when he can do all the things.
Works for me.
Well, that movie depressed the shit out of me. City of Stars. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, when I'm watching British movies, like, there is such a collection, and maybe because it's a smaller, smaller country, where, like, obviously, like, every famous British actor is in Harry Potter. But then, like, you can make all of these connections, like, oh, she's in this with him and she's in this with him. I love it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so fun. They're in this together and they're in this together. And it, like, doesn't bother me at all.
I think, too, The Brits have more of a thing for people with talent and less of a thing for people who are pretty.
Yeah,
like,
people who are just gonna like get box office sales up.
and there are some people, like, if you find Hugh Grant hot, great. But there are some people who are good actors and are appeasing to look at, right? That
Yes.
fall in both, that are
Yes.
British. But so many American actors are just pretty.
That's correct.
I'm a model, and now I'm on The Summer I Turned Beautiful,
Pretty,
or whatever,
yeah.
like, right?
Yeah.
British people, we're looking at people who are legitimate Shakespearean trained
Good
people.
actors, and also like sometimes a little quirky.
Yeah. And a lot of them, like the woman that's on Veep and Olivia Colman,
Mm-hmm.
started off as like improvisers and doing sketch comedy and things, right? So it's like there's more room for weird.
Yes,
Yeah.
instead of just hot.
Yeah.
Or so vapid here. Anyway, speaking of vapid losers, do you want to get into the reviews?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of vapid losers, Jeff Strickler of the Minneapolis Star-Tribune
What a loser.
writes, "It's Zellweger's unselfishness that sells the movie. How many other young actresses would be willing to let a movie make fun of their fat thighs?"
That's crazy.
That was, somebody let this man publish that, but also it was 2002, but also it was America.
Fat thighs?
She
At no point am I like, oh
No.
my God.
At the one point where we see like her butt sliding down
Yeah.
a fire pole, I'm like, ooh wee,
Yeah.
yeah, girl, get it.
At the end when she's running around with no clothes on, I was like, she looks fun.
This also came out during a time where, like, in America, hot meant stick
This big,
bug,
yeah. Yeah.
as she puts it. Like, this was like Paris Hilton era hot
Yeah.
before the Kardashians came and threw some booty around.
And stole it from the black women. But
Yeah.
really, like, you're right. In America at this time, it was like, we talk about eating disorder skinny.
Yes.
That, like, everyone's like, I guess I'll just have peanuts for lunch.
So she gained 25 pounds, and people are like, "You're so brave.
You're big as a
Give
house.
her the Oscar." Jesus. I will say Roger Ebert loved the film. He gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars.
I love that.
I know. He loved it. He writes, "Glory be. They didn't muck it up." Bridget Jones' Diary, a beloved book about a heroine both lovable and human, has been made against all odds into a funny and charming movie that understands the charm of the original and preserves it. There's nothing scarier. There are a
Nothing?
lot of ways. There are things that are way scarier. But usually it can be a little unnerving when like a book that you love is being turned into a movie or a
yeah.
television series. You're like, God, please don't fuck this up. And I think obviously a lot of people were scared when Renee Zellweger was cast. But truly, like, it's so I think so much of it is like the relief. That You're like, oh, I didn't hate this. And she really did justice to the role.
Yeah.
We love to see it. Speaking of, got nothing.
Okay. Great.
Let's read the.
A perfect transition.
She's hot and then she's cold, but it keeps you on your toes. Let's hop into Letterboxd. Belle writes, "I want 2001 floppy-haired Hugh Grant to throw me through a window, to be honest." And I know you don't agree with that.
I pass.
And you know what? I've never thought he's hot, ever.
Really?
No.
Oh.
No. Because usually he and this was kind of a step away from his usual type when he did this, because normally he was always playing like the puppy dog, stammering, kind of nervous but like good guy that ultimately gets the girl, whereas this he was like a douche.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, when he falls in the lake and stands up and his shirt is clinging to him and you can tell he put on some muscles for this part and he's got that cigarette hanging out of his mouth, I was like, Daddy.
I think he's good in the movie. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's an attractive man.
That's totally fine.
Pass.
Maybe I only thought he was attractive because he like grew some balls and was acting like an asshole. And that was my type for many years.
You don't have the money for my copay for this therapy session.
Maybe because he was rich and rude. That's why I like him in this.
He's so hot.
Because it's not my type to be like, pardon me.
It's like, spit it out.
You dropped some tea on your sweater. Yeah, I can't.
Well, that's the king's speech.
Right, sorry, Colin Firth. Anna writes, "Damn, they turned Miss Honey into a bitch." And I was like, right, I forgot that was Miss Honey.
That's Annabeth Davis. That she and
For those who don't know what we're talking about, the woman who is dating Colin Firth through most of this movie was Miss Honey.
Is Miss Honey. Yeah. Renee is good in this movie. She's
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
She's great. Does she have a face that has seen the American public school system's lunches? Yes.
Yes.
She does not have a British demeanor or face.
No.
And there's so many moments where I'm like, that is an American woman. To that end, Annabeth Davis is an American woman.
Yeah.
And she very convincingly is British in this movie.
You're
I was
right.
like, that's a British lady.
She's got like a pinched quality.
Yes. There's like a sternness and kind of an edginess, right? A
Yes.
key to her.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Although, like, there's something to be said for like a pale, doughy British woman.
I think Renee would have worked a bit better for me if the accent was less posh and if she was more of a regional British person.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
it's
I
a
get
little
that.
too polished, and then she looks a little
Unpolished.
I wish it would have just been all unpolished.
Okay. I take that.
That's just my critique. What do I know?
I take that. Well, our last critique of the film by by Doink to Doink.
What is it? Doink the doink. I love that.
Yes. So our reviews are here from Belle, Anna, two Disney princesses, and Doink to Doink.
My favorite Disney princess.
But I specifically pulled this review for you because it sounds like something you would say.
Also, full disclosure, I usually look at the reviews on Letterboxd before we record,
Yeah.
and I've stopped doing that so that you can surprise me with them.
Thank you.
Because if you follow me on Letterboxd, I do usually the day before we record, I'll post that I've watched the movie,
Yeah.
so you can know what movie we're doing.
Right.
But I stopped looking at the reviews.
I really appreciate that, so I can surprise you sometimes. But now I'm like, wait, are you Doink to Doink? Was this your review? Because it sounds like something you would say.
Have
Ready?
you seen me? Have you seen my backside? It is not doink to doink. It is flat to
Doink
flat.
to doink, doink, doink.
Okay, I'm ready.
Doink to Doink writes, you know when Colin Firth says, I should have done this years ago? I had a gut feeling they were going to fight. But the way Hugh Grant innocently says, done what? An alternate universe does exist where they kiss. And I went, that has Jackson written all over it.
I did not want that.
He did not. Okay, only when you're attracted to them do you want them to kiss.
Yeah, I want two hot men kissing. I don't want Colin Firth touching him. Don't touch that man. It's gonna rub off on you. Hugh Grant's ickiness.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I will say I wasn't sold on this movie. I was like, okay, I'm having fun. I was not sold until that fight scene, and then I was like, you know what? I wasn't clued into what this is, which is leaning full into like, this is silly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite silly.
Like the two men fighting through a Greek restaurant and It's Raining Men is playing.
I laughed so hard out loud.
Hilarious.
We'll get to that.
Hilarious.
Let's get to that. I'll do one more fun fact and then we can hop into the plot, which is so the original idea from the book, it is, as we mentioned, kind of influenced by Pride and Prejudice, but the actual sort of stories and things came from Helen Fielding's experience writing columns for The Independent about her adventures as a single woman living in London. So it's effectively like the Sex and the City of London.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Except
She is not like
not
Carrie.
Carrie.
No.
No, not at all. This kind of surprised me. In 2007, The Guardian named, and look, I haven't read the book, so maybe it would change my life, but in 2007, The Guardian named Bridget Jones' Diary as one of the 10 novels that best define the 20th century, joining the ranks of The Great Gatsby, Anne Frank's The Diary of a Young Girl,
Jeez Louise.
and Catcher in the Rye.
Wow.
I'm like, really? This girl being like, I've got to put on my big giant underwears is in the same category as Anne Frank's. Those two diaries are not the same. Okay?
Vastly different. That's wild.
That's bad shit crazy.
That's a little sneak in at the end. And they said, and Bridget Jones' Diary.
Goodbye. And they're like, wait, what?
Run off the stage. Everyone was like, wait.
Wait, we have questions.
What was that last one? Bridget Jones' Diary.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Somebody give her an Academy Award so we can make this make sense. Woof. Anyway, good for them. Let's saunter into the plot, shall we?
Let's do the plot. I'm reporting live. I'm Bridget Jones from The Plot. Because she's like a news person.
She is.
A news presenter, as they call them over there.
That's right.
Bridget Jones is 32. Ancient.
No prospects. Basically dead.
32 and single and a mess and a buffoon, and she smokes too much and drinks too much and doesn't shut up. And I'm like, getting a little close to home,
listen,
Bridge.
You don't drink too much anymore.
No, and I don't smoke cigarettes.
You don't smoke cigarettes.
Everything else.
You do be filling your diary with some escapades lately. I will.
Careful now. My mom knows. So she's employed as a publicity assistant at a publishing house in London. Because she's British.
Yeah.
Yeah. Renee Zellweger is British. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
But she spends most of her time at work fantasizing about her womanizing boss.
Who amongst us has not?
Have you ever had a womanizing boss? Have men
Yes.
ever womanized you?
We worked at the same bar.
Our boss was not a womanizer.
Well,
he was a gay Mexican man.
Oh, sorry. We worked at this bar at different times. My era.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a lesbian too?
No, not Hill and Bay.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Because I was thinking about, what's his name? Who was so sweet.
No.
The gayest Mexican man.
Jose. No. Different. That's true.
Oh,
We've worked at two different bars together.
Yes.
The first one.
Okay, you worked at the first. Okay. Oh, yeah. That was womanizing place.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure. When they were like, you better come to work like you're going on a date and you're going to put out almost a direct quote.
When I worked there, it definitely changed that whole MO.
Because Me Too movement started.
No one was going on dates the way we all looked.
Anyway.
But her boss, Daniel Cleaver, is... I don't.
Look, he's rich and in charge, and that in itself can be very hot.
Tantalizing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go for it.
Yeah.
While at her parents' New Year's Eve party, her mother says that someone is there who she used to know, and she's like, who? Cigarette in hand, smoking in the house.
She smokes indoors. So anytime I see somebody from a movie in the early aughts smoking indoors, it makes me want to throw up.
Oh.
I'm like, how are people doing this just like in their bedrooms?
You know, like there's like billowy smoke all over the ceiling.
Oh my God. It's like Panic Room when there's just fire on the ceiling.
Yeah. That house is so British.
Yes, it is. It's
so
like
British.
in
The wallpaper.
It's like in the countryside. Very old. They're eating gherkins on toothpicks.
Gherkins. I got some you can gherkin. She is reacquainted, though, with a childhood friend.
Mark
Darcy. She's like, remember you used to play naked in his pool?
She's like,
She's
thanks,
Mom,
Mama.
oh my God, Mom. She's so just like lame. The character is lame, and it's meant to be, but she's like... God, no wonder no one likes you.
He's also wearing like a very bad reindeer jumper. Yeah.
Not a sweater, a jumper.
Yeah. Jumpa tub thumpa. Sorry, I'm going to start rapping British.
He is a barrister. Whatever the hell that is.
Is a lawyer.
Thank you.
You got it.
I did not know that.
Even at the end when he was defending someone in court.
Oh, I got that he was a lawyer. I didn't know they called it a barrister. I thought that's what you hold to go down the stairs.
Mummy, watch me slide down the barrister.
Mommy, look. She overhears him chastise his mother for trying to set him up with, and I quote, a verbally incontinent spinster who smokes like a chimney, drinks like a fish, and dresses like her mother. And she's in the back trying to eat her mom's curry turkey like... Huh?
Yummy.
Yum.
Turkey curry.
And cigarette smoke.
I would have walked into the pond.
She kind of walks right up to him and she's like... And then walks away.
Yeah.
It's like, say something.
Yeah.
Call his sweater ugly. Call his mom ugly. Fuck it.
Whatever. We're all British here. We're all ugly.
She decides to form a New Year's resolution where she's like, I'm going to get thin. I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop drinking. And I'm going to keep it all in my diary. Yeah. Title card, Bridget Jones's diary.
I'm going to hold myself accountable to my New Year's Eve goals after I'm cry singing to All By Myself.
The Celine Dion version.
That was not Celine Dion singing, though.
Yeah, it is.
Not in the movie that I watched.
I'm pretty sure that's her version.
No way.
You want to place a bet?
Yes.
Okay. I'll bet you $5 because I don't have a lot of money right now.
Deal.
Okay.
Because I also don't.
We'll put it. We'll put it. Maybe we'll edit it in somewhere.
Yeah.
Once we look it up.
We'll do 2 different reactions right now. Oh, man, you won.
Oh, my gosh. I lost.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, wait. Yeah. We're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I won. Cool. I'm $5 richer.
I'm sweating because I just won $5.
I can take the subway 1.5 times.
Yes, and.
Anyway.
So she's going to lose weight and she's going to get her life together so she can find Mr. Right. Mm-hmm. Title card, Bridget Jones's Diary. Mm-hmm. Great. We're in it. We're in it to win it.
Cool.
Bridget and her boss, Daniel, start having an HR nightmare affair, which I'm confused how this starts.
Yes. Okay. This whole scene, I really thought this was going to be like another embarrassing blunder for her because she's like MSN messaging him or something at work, which like, again, today could never happen.
No.
I guess she comes into work one day in like a tiny little mini skirt and he's like, it looks like your skirt is missing like today or something. But here's the thing. She keeps looking at him in his office and he's doing other stuff.
He's not even paying attention to her. I thought maybe someone else was messaging her as the boss.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Or I thought like it was the wrong name. I just thought she was going to be like, oh no, I've been messaging the pervy guy.
I was like, oh, it's giving comedy of errors. And then I was like, oh wait, no.
And I was like, how is this happening? And Drew was like, oh, it's a montage. I'm like, no, it's not. She's typing and then looking up at him and he's like on the phone, nowhere near his keyboard. And then like messages are coming
and
through.
Literally a beat before this in the film, they have an interaction where you would think that she's dog shit on the bottom of his shoe. He's like, he looks at her like this. He goes, okay. Right. So it's like all of a sudden he's like, that tiny little skirt. I said, where is this coming from?
He's like, oh, she's an idiot. I could fuck her.
She's a bumbling fool.
I could fuck her while I'm dating somebody else. She won't catch on.
God.
Anyway.
That gooped me.
So so they're having this illicit back and forth. And this whole time I'm going, oh, it's going to come out any minute that it's not him. But she's going to like say something to him and it's going to be embarrassing.
Whole movie, I was like, this is all in her head.
Until they get in the elevator and he puts his hand on her butt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what?
Uh-oh. But they're getting ready for this book launch, which is going to be the biggest book of the year. Biggest book, just like Diary of Anne Frank.
One of
the best books. And at this book launch, as she's been kind of flirting off and on again with her boss, she runs into Mark and his on and off again colleague / romantic interest, Natasha. Miss Honey.
Miss Honey, if you will.
The reason I've been working so hard lately, is to get my Miss Honey apartment here in New York.
Yes,
I just want like a little safe.
Where you can roller skate on the floors.
What?
Don't they do that? They like pull up the rug and they're like roller skating around the living room.
That's when they finally get to the big house when she's bequeathed what's rightfully hers.
You want her cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
Got it. Or the bed comes out of the wall and it's also a sink. Yeah. It's a waterbed. You just slip your dishes inside the mattress and then you pull them out.
And while you're sleeping, they watch. I hate you. Where the bed is also a sink.
You just roll around a bit.
When you're having a nightmare, you get the dishes real clean.
Help.
Bridget leaves the book launch with Daniel, her boss.
Yes.
And they start this affair.
Yeah. But Mark is like looking at, it's clear that Mark and Daniel know each other. But like he's giving him looks like.
He's also giving her looks like.
Yeah.
Completely
like
dead-faced.
Deadpan judgment face. Yeah.
And Mark reveals. No, not Mark. Mark is the sweater weather.
The sweater weather.
The sweater weather wearer. Colin Firth. Daniel, her boss, reveals that him and Mark used to be friends.
From university.
From Cambridge. But they had a falling out because Mark slept with his fiancée. Disgusting. Bro code broken.
So not code. Mr. Darcy behavior.
No.
So she's like, you poor thing.
She's like, oh no, look at you and your unibrow.
Guess I'll go home and shag ya.
Yeah. And they get freaky deaky.
They get all the way freaky. Also, Don't tell me this woman is quote unquote fat when straight he's carrying her all over the apartment.
And his arms, you said that he gained some muscle for this. I don't see it. His arms are this big. He looks like a rat.
Just in the wet shirt, I guess. He swelled up in the river.
They're like, you're so big. Timothy Chalamet can pick you up. It's like, that is not. The math is not adding up.
That's correct.
Bridget and Daniel make a weekend together because she's invited to this family party, which has a theme.
That they do every year.
Do you guys have themed family parties?
We used to have a Christmas party, but that is not really a theme. That's a holiday party.
That's a holiday, right.
Especially a party that is, the theme is tarts and vicars, which is essentially, I'm trying to think, is like
whores and priests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what the American version of that. Like, I mean, there used to be like a Pimps and Hoes themed party, or like for those colleges, antebellum parties.
Oh, Jesus.
But all those people ended up on reality TV and getting kicked off a season of The Bachelor. But tarts and vicars is the theme, and I'm like, this is your family party?
Yeah. But if my mother was like, hey, we're going to have Bill Nye the Science Guy barbecue. Like, what?
I feel like maybe it's like their version of like American Halloween, where like the only way we're allowed to dress slutty one day a year is for this tarts and vicars party.
For this spring tea outside.
For the women to wear their fishnets and for the men to hide their boners in their frocks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Daniel
and Bridget, I almost forgot her name, they are staying at the same country inn as Natasha and Mark. Mm-hmm. And they run into each other, and I laughed out loud when the camera pans over and Renee's hair from the car.
Her movie star-esque like hair scarf blows off in his convertible, and she looks fucking insane. But also she's like, a weekend away means this is serious. Like, we're really progressing. She's we're like, real.
This is official. While they're boning, because I'm pretty sure it's alluded to, they just did anal.
Pretty sure that's illegal in some countries. It's like, what? Me fucking the dude while you watch?
She goes like, what would you say if I said I love you? Or like, do you love me?
I thought she said.
She kills the mood real quick.
Yeah. She's like, do you love me?
And he's like,
I love fucking you.
Yeah, he's like, if you say that again, I'm gonna have to do what I just did again. And she's like, do you love me? I was like, okay, they're definitely doing butt stuff.
Yeah, but also like, you know, Mark is seeing them sort of he's watching. It's obvious there's bad blood between him and Hugh Grant, but also he's like watching her. They have this like slow-mo moment on the lake where you're like, oh, he likes her. Because she's silly. This woman, they're in a rowboat, and she's like reading over law like argument. She's like, we're here to do work in a rowboat.
Yeah, and Beth Davis is like, and that's the reason we lost the case. And meanwhile, the two other ones are like beating each other with the paddles and smoking cigarettes. He's like, I wish I was over there.
That looks more fun, mommy. Anyway.
There's a gherkin up my ass.
So,
but
next morning, of course, after she's like, do you love me?
He's like, I gotta go. There's business to attend to in London.
The team from America.
America's coming in.
Oh, no, they're gonna try to shut us down.
She's like, I gotta go back to London.
You're gonna have to go to your family party by yourself.
I have to wear this Playboy bunny outfit by myself. And he's like, yeah. You do. Subplot during all of this is that her mother is leaving her father.
Yes.
Because she does demonstrations at the department store and has been noticed by someone who works at basically the British version of QVC.
Yes, but also she feels like it's been years since he's even looked at her, touched her. She's feeling very underappreciated. The romance is gone.
Yeah. So she is like, I'm going to leave your dad and I'm going to start working at the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah.
With the guy who's...
I'll say foppish.
He's a poof.
He's an absolute poof.
He's gay.
Yeah.
That's a gay guy.
But
you know what? Hey, sometimes a feminine man, fruity straight men are very important.
Say why?
Because I think a lot of women... I think so many men are afraid to be labeled as gay, right? Yes. They're like, they won't do certain things. They won't let their little out, right? Uh-huh. A man who is comfortable enough in himself to get fruity with it, to be a little froom, you know, to be a little puffy. I think a lot of women appreciate men who do things right in the bedroom, are very heterosexual there, and then outside of there, a lot of people are like, is your boyfriend gay? Maybe.
You'll never know.
Fruity straight guys, make some noise. You ain't listening to this.
Make some noise in the comments. They're like, oh, this is a private account.
My girlfriend doesn't know I watch this. So at the Vickers and Tarts party, she shows up.
Oh, after the party. No.
Not yet.
At the party. During the party. Okay.
She shows up dressed, and other people, you can tell, also didn't get the memo that, guess what?
They canceled the theme.
Canceled the theme.
Everyone's just in it looks like a royal wedding celebration party.
Yep. Her dad fully dressed like a priest. I love that. And they have this moment where they share a cigarette.
They clearly have like a very tight bond, her and her dad.
Very sweet.
Her mom's insane.
And she's like, you know what? I'm going to go back to London in this exact attire, and I'm going to surprise Daniel, who's working hard.
Or hardly. Hard.
He's not working flaccid, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
She goes in and she surprises him, and he's playing it cool. I was like, when what happens, I was gooped because I wasn't expecting it.
He was playing it off very well.
And then you hear this noise in the back, and she's like, is someone else here? He's like, no. She's like, okay. And he goes, why don't you go home?
Burst into the bedroom to check.
And there's no one there.
Nobody there. And she's like, I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. It's just been a long day.
So he's like, why don't you go home and get ready? I'm going to finish work, and then we can go out to dinner.
In like an hour.
And then on her way out, she sees this like pink
sparkly cardigan.
Club Libby Lou cardigan. And she's like,
runs upstairs.
Right back upstairs into the bedroom and then in the bathroom. And there is a naked woman sitting behind a big Publishers Clearinghouse check or whatever it is. And she's like, you told me she was thin. The girlfriend, the extramarital lover, insults Bridget when she bursts in on her.
So messed up.
Heartbroken.
So messed up. And she's just, to add insult to insult to insult to injury, she's got to walk back all sad through a warehouse.
Fish market.
In her bunny costume. After watching this, I love that she calls her the American stick bug. Because she is very tall, model-esque, of the time, American beauty standards.
Sure. Bridget decides to cut ties with the publishing house and cut ties with her boss, who's also her kind of boyfriend. And she says, you know what? I don't need this. She decides she's going to work in TV. Where do you go when you have a broken heart? TV.
Absolutely. Where do you go when you feel the least confident you've ever felt in yourself?
Television.
On camera.
And the scenes where she's interviewing, they're like, why do you want to work in TV? And she's like, well, I've just really always cared about the world and politics and whatever. And then when it cuts to the last one.
Name one politic.
And she's like when it cuts to the last one, he's like, why do you want to work in TV? And she's like, well, basically, I was shagging my boss and I laughed so hard.
He's like, you're hired. You're encouraged to shag your boss.
Yeah. So she goes to a dinner party where Mr. Darcy and M. Beth Davis are sitting there, and she's like, oh, great.
Her and a million couples.
So many couples. And they're like, well, you remember Tinto and Boo Boo and blah, blah, blah.
Hey, they all speak exactly the same.
And they pester her with questions about why modern women can't hold down a relationship.
Why women in their 30s are so unmarried all the time.
Disgusting. And she's like, I'm the monolith for modern women.
She's like, I guess because we have scales all over our bodies. I guess we're just monsters.
And on her way out of the party, Mr. Darcy comes down the stairs and he's like, wait, stone face as ever. I have to tell you something. And she's like, what? Is there toilet tissue on my back? I'm such a buffoon.
She's like, I know you don't like me, okay? I don't like you either.
I don't like you either. But basically, complete opposite. He confesses to her that he actually does like her and likes her just the way you are.
She is.
Oh, that made me horny. I said, yeah. I like you just the way you are. And she's like shocked to her core.
She is. She's like, oh, right. At first, she doesn't believe him. She's like, oh, you like me? Cool. Well, because I smoke and I drink and I've got diarrhea mouth.
Yeah, and I'm fat and I have stringy blonde hair. And then he's like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
You really don't like yourself.
No. He's like, nope, just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
And then when Miss Honey comes up to the top of the stairs and is like, Mark, snaps at him. Please come back. I've decided to turn this dinner party into a work study. I was like, go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's bad.
So we get to know Mark more, and we see a different side of him as she's seeing a different side of him.
Yeah.
Because all her friends are like, wait, he likes you just the way you are. I thought you fucking hated him. And she's like, I do.
Moaning Myrtle's like, I wish someone would like me just the way I am.
It's like, well, try a different haircut. You look like a coconut.
Bitch, you're a ghost.
You're a ghost. Mark gets her an exclusive interview, basically saving the day because she bungles this huge thing. Because there's a landmark case that he is representing the plaintiff in.
It's like a big civil rights kind of case.
Yeah. And he gets her the guy does no interviews except with her.
He gets the exclusive.
Yeah. And there's this cute moment where, like, at the end of the interview, she looks at camera and she's like, and I'm Bridget Jones, and I think I have a crush.
Yeah.
So cute.
It's so cute, and it's like her whole job's like, man, that's what we needed. Hard-hitting, serious journalism by a bumbling, lovable fool.
By a lovable fool who's got oogle eyes and isn't paying attention.
She's like, this is very important national topic, but did you want to shag him as soon as you saw him? People are like,
She's like, if we were go to dinner, do you have any allergies? And the guy who's like literally been in the civil rights case,
like, I'm a freedom fighter.
Yeah.
Like
She's like, yeah, that's great.
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? Do you like peanut butter?
Are your horoscopes compatible?
She's like, and you were born when? What time? Does your mom have your birth certificate?
Yeah, but anyway, it's a big win. It's a big win.
For freedom fighters.
For journalism.
And for Bridget Jones.
For Bridget Jones.
Not a big win is when she attempts to make dinner and she cannot cook.
No. Also, I was like, that's a low, like, so it's her birthday.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm going to have all my friends over and cook for everyone.
I have my
on my
gaggle
birthday.
of girls and gays over it. Yeah.
I'm like, no, y'all are going to take me out and pay.
No, that's me core. I want to cook for you guys.
You want to cook? Yeah, but you're good at cooking.
I am. When she put the string on the leeks, I was like,
you knew what was going to happen?
I said, that's going to be blue.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So she's making this horrible meal.
Literal. She's Julia the child. A child who cannot cook.
You're
okay?
absolutely right.
Because she cannot cook. And guess who shows up?
Mark Darcy.
Mark Darcy shows up and he's like, oh my God, this smells like burnt failure in here.
But happy birthday.
But happy birthday. Do you have eggs? And she's like, inside, yeah. They're dying.
They're dying. Only a few left.
So he makes helps her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And they're
cooking
getting
together.
to know each other over the
It's
ingredients
really,
of cooking.
It's really sweet.
All her
blue
friends show
soup.
up. What?
Her blue soup.
Oh. You said her blue suit. I was like, is that what she was wearing?
No, her blue soup that she makes, her disgusting gravy
that they all still eat. I'd be like, Bridge, I love you. I'm only drinking wine in this apartment.
I really thought they were going to be like, time for some takeout.
Time for some takeaway.
No. Yeah, you're right. It's takeaway in England.
Which I fucking hate. Which actually my mom the other day, a few months ago when I was visiting her, she's like, why don't we get a takeaway? And I said, you've been watching too much of that BBC she pays extra for to watch British procedurals.
Why do you hate it?
I just take away.
You're taking it away from the restaurant instead of eating it there. The same way you take it out of the restaurant instead of taking it in.
It's the same way that New Yorkers say, are you standing online? And I said, like AOL? No, I'm standing in line. We are in line to pick up food or in line at the deli. We are not online.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that.
Don't get me started. Look how sweaty I am.
We're getting you too agitated. Anyway, he stays to have dinner with all of her friends.
And everyone's having a kiki and a good time. And they're like, maybe this guy isn't such of a fuckwad. Then a real fuckwad shows up because Daniel is drunk.
Yeah.
And shows up at her. I love her apartment, by the way.
It's really
That's the apartment that I want.
Yeah.
He shows up and he's like, Bridget, I'm in love with you again. And homegirl left me and I love you.
What I hate is that he goes, oh, I thought you'd be alone.
What an asshole.
She'd be home alone on her birthday?
That's how little he thinks of her.
Go
And she's like,
fuck yourself.
They go in the next room by themselves and she's like twiddling her frayed hair. And she's
She's
like,
I can't stop thinking about you and your fat ass.
and she's like, really? And he's like,
What happened to the American stick bug?
and she's like, well, okay. And then Mark just bursts in. He goes, hey, I'm leaving.
She's like, no.
No, stay. We're all having a good time. He's like, no, I'm leaving.
He's like, why don't you stay for dinner with me and Bridge?
Yeah.
He steals her away.
Gross.
And I didn't remember anything about this movie, but I knew off the rip that the story about the fiance was swapped.
Bogus.
Yeah.
Darcy leaves, and then he comes back a few seconds later, and he's like, actually, let's go outside. Let's take this outside. He's like, what shall I get? My dueling pistols.
Oh, my sword.
My swords. They go outside, and they start beating the shit out of each other. Conforth punches him clean in the face. Mm-hmm. And then a cover, it's not the original, but It's Raining Men starts playing.
Yes.
And that's when like I said, I'm sold on this movie.
Not only that, this whole fight sequence is improvised.
Is it really?
Yes.
I love that.
There's no stunt choreography whatsoever.
Spooky.
They just wanted it to be, I mean, with aside from the fact of them diving through the window, which those are stunt doubles and that's planned, but they wanted it to seem like two little boys on the playground, like just like try, and it is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Just the awkward kicks and the trying to. I was laughing so hard
when they just burst into a Greek restaurant.
When they're in this Greek restaurant and somebody's walking down with a Parthenon birthday cake, and they
they all pause.
Pauses and just like singing happy
like,
birthday.
Happy birthday. So good.
So good.
So good.
So then they go out. They throw each other through a window.
Through the window. Eventually, after, fist and fist and fist, a lot of fisting, Hugh Grant's like, okay, I'm good. And Colin Firth knocks him clean out.
Yeah.
And Renee Zellweger, she should go with Colin Firth at this point.
Hello.
She chastises both of them. And she's like, you act all prim and proper, and this is how you act. You ruin my favorite Greek restaurant where I get takeaway.
Where am I going to get my moussaka?
Not moussaka.
Look, I'm Greek. I'll name the whole menu for you, okay?
But with an accent, moussaka. Look at my moussaka. My baklava.
Look at my moussaka and my baklava. I'm just going to get mum in the back of my car. Sorry. I love imitating British rap.
British rap. My friend Viviana, she played British rap for me one time, and I was in tears.
Yeah.
I'm selling drugs at the school.
I'll see you in the middle because your mum is a skittle. Like, it's just like...
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
Yes.
Shit like that.
Yes.
Insane.
Yes.
Insane.
Wild. Anyway, she's like, fuck you both. And then, but she's still kind of like catering to Hugh Grant, who's on the ground. And Mark Darcy's like, fuck it.
I'm out of here. So she goes home.
Well, no. Then Mark Darcy... Not Mark Darcy. Then Hugh Grant comes alive again for a split second. He's like, how about you and I? We just be together. And he goes something like, because if I can't be with you, then I don't have a chance with anyone.
Yeah.
What?
He's like, it's you or nobody. And she's like, really?
She's like, I don't think that's good enough, actually.
And then she goes, actually, I deserve something more extraordinary than that.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
That's so good.
That's lovely. So, content in her loneliness, she goes and sits with her dad on Christmas because they're wearing their little Christmas crowns.
Watching their departed mother on QVC. She's not dead. She just left.
Sell a bunch of shitty jewelry. And then
she looks dead inside.
Speaking of, she comes in the house.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, hey.
That guy's kind of mean to me.
That guy looks purple up close.
It's like Chris Noth's reportedly purple dick. Have you heard of this?
What?
Everyone says, Big, for those who don't know, Big from Sex and the City. The rumor is that he has a very small purple dick. And I can never
I've never heard that.
think of it. But anyway.
Now I want to see
Not so
it.
Mr. Big after all. Continue. Mummy's back.
Mom's back, and she basically begs the dad. She's like, could we just give it one more chance? You used to be crazy about me. And he has this moment where he's like, I don't know. And she's like, oh.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? I've been
goes,
changing your nappies for the last 18 years.
He goes, I'm kidding. I'm yanking your dick. Why did he throw... What?
Well, he probably
There's
was
no
like, you
backbone.
deserve to be scared, bitch. You deserve to have a little moment.
Okay, that moment should last like a few weeks. Your wife left your marriage home to go be on QVC. I'd be like, you're in the doghouse for weeks.
Yeah.
Not 8 seconds.
No, I know.
And she's like, oh, okay, we're all good.
Gold. Let me get the gherkins out.
Let me get the gherkins for you, because Dad's probably in the
Time
butt
to
play.
celebrate.
The mom drops a huge bombshell
Yes.
by letting Bridget know, because they're getting ready to go to the Darcy anniversary party for the parents. Mm-hmm. And she goes, Mark Darcy will be there. He's still single. And she also makes these really disparaging remarks about Japanese people the entire movie.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, sign of the times. That was strange.
Uh-huh.
But she goes, still single. And she goes, well, and he had his wife stolen from him, basically, by his best friend from Cambridge.
Then she's like, oh,
And it clicks. She goes,
shit.
oh, the story I was told? Not correct.
Not correct.
Mark had his wife stolen by Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant, a thief.
A thief and a liar.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh, my God, I fucked up.
I fucked up, yeah.
So they get in the car, and Ain't No Mountain High Enough is playing. This film has such a fun soundtrack.
It's a really fun soundtrack.
Like,
and well-timed.
Well-timed, well-placed songs. She's like, Dad, you're driving too slowly, right? On the snowy British, holiday road.
Yeah.
She gets in the car and she's fast and furious to the party. She runs in and she basically confesses to him that, like, to Mr. Darcy, she goes, I like you. And I like you even though you're kind of a prick and there's a pickle up your ass.
It's very British in the sense where, she, you know, in an American movie, it would be like, I love you.
No, I love you like you.
In the British film, it's like, well, I took some time to think and I rather quite think that I perhaps rather like you.
Deep in my female, I have
just
an inkling
a
of
bit.
love for you.
They're like, well, marriage.
Well, that's as good as it's going to get. Unfortunately, she finds out during the parent speech that Mr. Darcy and Natasha are moving together to New York. So she goes, well.
And that he makes a comment.
He's like,
and maybe they'll soon to be engaged or something. And it's like,
the band starts playing, dun, 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 and you can tell Mr. Darcy, he's like, whatever.
I've given up.
I'm giving up.
Yeah.
And she tries to give a little speech.
She goes, no! And everyone's like, what?
Everyone turns and she's like,
I mean, what a loss for the country for such a great barrister.
Think of Britain. Think of the
Anyway.
Queen. God save beans on toast.
She is truly the most
She's such a mess.
wackadoo. Which, fun fact, Chardonnay took a huge hit. The sale of Chardonnay took a huge hit.
I was like, what character's named Chardonnay?
Didn't you see her in the fight scene? The sales of Chardonnay took a huge hit after this movie came out because before Bridget Jones, Chardonnay was really sexy, and afterwards people just associate it because she drinks a lot of Chardonnay in the movie. I guess they're just associated with like, oh, you must be just like a pathetic loser.
And that's still kind of six.
Yeah,
you know, where like people will be like, oh, I just sit around and drink Chardonnay and eat Ben & Jerry's because I'm so sad.
Yes.
And it's like that
it's
stems
because
from
of
this.
Bridget Jones.
That's
and
crazy.
People in bars were like, we don't want that loser shit.
Like, oh, no Chardonnay.
Not in my bar.
Now we're trying to make Chardonnay sexy again.
We can try.
A California Chardonnay too.
Skinny bitch Chardonnay. What is a housewife selling it?
Skinny slut Chardonnay.
Anyway,
Bridget's sad.
Yeah, she's like, I guess I got to go on with my life.
And so because he goes to New York, and she's sad, and her friends are like, get in, bitch, we're going to Paris.
I was like, oh, man, how fucking fun to live in Europe when you can just be like, we just decided we're going to get in the car and drive to Paris.
We're going to go to Paris.
Like, best I can do is drive to DC for some fireworks on the 4th. Like,
get in, we're going to go to Maryland.
Womp. Drink some Old Bay. We're
gonna do the Old Bay challenge in Maryland. We know you're sad.
Yeah, they're like, we're taking you to Paris, bitch, for New Year's. She's like, all right.
She's like, all right, I guess. I'm a sad sack. Who's coming up the street behind her?
Mr. Darcy.
It's Mr. Darcy. And he's like, hey, bitch.
A bombshell has entered the villa.
And he's like,
I realized I didn't kiss you goodbye.
Yeah, they've never kissed.
That's right.
They haven't shared. They haven't smooched. What
No.
do British people say? Smothered, smeckered.
No, they've never snogged.
Snog. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We've never snogged.
Yeah.
So her friends are like,
You're not coming to Paris, are you, bitch?
there's no room for you in this car anyway, fat ass.
Fuck off.
And she's like,
Au revoir.
so they go upstairs.
She's picking out her sexiest panties.
And she goes, 1 second, right? Because there is a very funny moment earlier in the movie where Hugh Grant lifts up her dress and she's wearing granny panties.
Those are the most gigantic underwear I've ever seen.
I've never seen such large knickers.
She's wearing like Spanx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes, this is a time, if ever, for sexy panties. They're zebra. Girlfriend. Well, come on. Being in love, I guess, doesn't mean you have taste. He sees on the coffee table her diary, which... Thank God the diary comes back in such a big way, or else the title of this would not have been worth it. Because again, the majority of the movie, she is not writing in that diary.
Also, invasion of privacy much?
I mean, it is wide open. He doesn't open it. It's wide open.
That's true. It's wide open. But then he starts skimming pages.
He's
and
got
it's all like
he's got police guidelines where he's like, well, it was open.
Yeah.
And it basically is like, I fucking hate this dude. This dude sucks.
Good. I have no doubt why his clever wife left him.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Darcy, you dickwad.
She's got a gherkin up his ass.
And he just storms out of the apartment.
Storms out. And she's like, wait. She runs out in just her
sees
underwear.
that he read it. And she's like, no.
She looks out the window and sees he's already half a mile down the street. Sorry, already half a kilometer down the street. And she's like, no, Mark. She tries to leave the apartment, turns right back around, puts on her trainers, which are running shoes.
Correct.
Throws a cardigan on.
A jumper.
Thank you. And she is, besides that, butthole ass naked. She got some panties on.
Panties and a bra?
She got a t-shirt.
T-shirt. Little tiny t-shirt. Yeah.
Runs through the London streets.
No.
Amazing. And she's like,
Yep.
she
Can't find him. She's like, where did he go?
He's inside some store. And
Pops
he
out.
opens the door and he's like, oh my, she looks a mess.
Yeah.
No surprise. Whole movie she's looked a mess.
But he likes her just the way she is.
She's like, please, Mark, I'm sorry about what was in the diary, but it's a diary, and like, who even cares what's inside of a diary, right? And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Who does care? I was buying you a new one so we can start a new chapter.
That line was the foreplay for the line that comes next, which is they kiss, and she goes, nice boys don't kiss like that. And she said, and he goes, yes, the fuck they do.
That sounded so not right coming out of his mouth. Yes, the fuck they do.
Well, I was like, but again, this is nice guy on the streets, daddy in the sheets.
Oh.
And that, where you see a little edge on him, where he's like, I'm polite, but I will fuck your brains out.
I will rail you through the wall.
Make no mistake.
In your shitty apartment.
And they kiss and smooch.
Yeah.
Happy ever after, I
Happy
guess, until
ending.
the sequel. But yeah, that's Bridget Jones's diary.
How would you rate and summate her diary since you're little Snoop?
I genuinely did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's lighthearted.
I texted you halfway through and was like, I'm almost done with this. And then I was like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That was before I really got clued in. I was like, no, I'm liking it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy this film. It's fun. It's lighthearted. And I laughed out loud like a few times. Mm-hmm. It's got that kind of like Love Actually British wintertime movie. Somebody wrote in the comments like, this is my favorite Christmas movie. And I was like,
No.
what?
No.
I never considered this a Christmas movie.
Because there's snow?
Because there's 2 Christmases involved in the...
Get a grip.
But... so it's not my favorite Christmas movie, but I love the spirit of it. I love that... Granted, it's a bit dated in the fact where she's like, I'm going to get my life together. And that includes getting skinnier and fucking around. Which,
Yeah.
like, look, power to you. Like, enjoy your life. I think some people say, like, oh, the lesson at the end is that, like, she runs out in her underwear. She's, like, not ashamed of her body. She, like, you know, doesn't care as much about, you know, she embraces herself at the end when she runs out of the apartment in her underwear. I'm like, I don't know that we get a big enough lesson at the end of this as, like, I am fine just the way I am. I will give this film 8.5 Chardonnays.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
First watch for me, I really liked it. By the end of it, I'm a fan. I probably will rewatch this. I liked it so much. Yeah. Which a lot of our first watches, I'm not rewatching.
No.
Renee sold me by the end. I was like, I'm a fan of her in this. I'm a fan of her in general. I do think she's a talented actress.
Yeah.
I like that she looks like a normal person in this movie. Like a legitimate, like they're like, she's fat and whatever. I don't love that. I love the fact though that like her on screen, she's thick in that Playboy thing. Her boobs are busting out.
She looks hot as hell in that
She
Playboy
just, like,
bunny outfit.
Looks like a regular person. Also, small eyes representation. I have small eyes. Renee Zellweger has like kind of smaller eyes.
You think you have small eyes?
I've been told numerous times I have beady rat eyes.
By who? Yourself in the mirror?
No, by a friend. And I'm going to fight him next time I see him. But yeah.
You and I have similar. We both have like almond shaped big eyes.
But your eyes are bigger on your face.
You know what I'll say?
Physically smaller
When
eyes.
you were a kid, you have.
When you were a kid.
You should have been thrown out. No. When I've seen pictures of you from when you're a kid.
Oh.
And you do have very cute, smaller eyes when you're a kid. But I don't think you do anymore. I think you need to.
Grown.
I think you need to throw that narrative in the bin.
Okay, well, I appreciate that Renee looks the way that she does, and I know people have made fun of her for having
a lemon
pouty mouth and
lemon squinched face.
But she is charming in this movie, and I was a fan by the end, even though she is deeply American looking. That is not a British woman.
Fair.
I like this movie.
Yeah.
I had a good time. It was fun.
Yeah.
I do wish, like you said about the payoff at the end, this is early aughts, so it's kind of before we reshape the thought processes of rom-coms.
Or like, she wins because she got a man.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything in the end, all of the change is still only to get a man.
Yeah.
I wish that in that diary she wrote down, you know what? I'm me and I'm enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got me.
And like, she stands up to Daniel and says like, I deserve more.
Sure.
But
all
she's
still
like, but she's like, but I deserve more better men.
more a better dude.
Yeah.
It's all still in pursuance of a guy.
Yes.
So, I'm a fan. I will give this British film, which is on par with The Diary of Anne Frank.
The book.
Oh.
Not the movie.
Yeah,
On
'cause
par
this
with
is
the
worlds better than the
The
movie.
Diary of Anne Frank.
I will give this film 8 out of 10 blue leek soups.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that one. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you for coming to British TV Teletime.
Thank you for the BBC. And
we
by
have
that
to-
I mean...
Oh, God.
Just kidding. Am I? We so appreciate you. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing, commenting on the YouTube, online. You guys are the best listeners and watchers ever.
Eva, it's getting Australian now.
Oh no, we're turning into Nicole Kidman. No!
Oh, no! Bridget Jones' story!
Thanks for coming to this place for magic.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.